Good evening. Welcome to the Retail Panchayat. I must say that this might be our last Panchayat as we've reached our first milestone, which was to collect a sum of money for 4,000 rupees for 3,000 girls. Nagesh will talk a little more about it. I just want to say that thank you to all the angel donors and all the panelists and today's panelists who have supported this initiative. I was just telling all my friends that every community needs to get together and save their community and support the community, because finally it's about your community, and each community needs to be supported. Retail Panchayat has been an initiative which just started a month back. This is the fourth Retail Panchayat, and I'm very proud to say the retail fraternity has really supported this, and we've got together. This might be the only initiative which is support the retail industry with some money, help the retail front end sales people with some business intelligence. And that's what we're going to do today with our friends on the panel. Shailesh Chaturvedi, the managing director of Tommy Hilfiger India and Calvin Klein and Arrow now. Ishwar Chugani, a very old friend and a dear friend from Dubai who heads Giordano. Rahul Singh, ex-fashion professional, but finally an entrepreneur and the founder of Beer Cafe India. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for contributing to this cause. And thank you for being with us. Nagesh, would you like to tell the audience and everybody about the Retail Panchayat, the purpose, and how are we going about supporting these retail employees?
Yeah. Thank you, Amitabh, and thank you, Ishwar. Thank you, Rahul, and thank you, Shailesh. I must say that this has been a very, very humbling experience. You know, many a times in like what we do in business, you just want to do something and you go ahead and make a commitment. So internally in our trust train, I am Isha and some of us said, kuch karna hai. And then we said, let's go ahead and do it. And after that, we realized, boss, 1.2 crores is not a small amount. How do we get it? And then JP Morgan came in as the anchor donor, and they supported with 6 million rupees. And they said that we would want to support if you can actually help 3,000 girls, 3,000 women, with 2,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 over the next 3 months period. So at least there is some support. And then the question was fantastic. We have half the money. How do we go to the next? And that's where I called up Amitabh and I said, Amitabh, this is what is going on in my mind. And honestly, I told him and I slept off. And next day morning, Amitabh called me and said, I couldn't sleep the whole night. So I thought, this is fantastic. Yeah, what a boss I am. You know, somebody else is having sleepless night and I slept off. But I must tell you, in 12 hours, 15 hours, Amitabh had a plan. He had a brand. We agreed upon it. And next week, next Sunday, this was on Wednesday. On the next Sunday, in 4 days' time, we had the first Retail Panchayat. And from that day, we have just scaled up week on week. An excellent set of angel donors. But more than the angel donors, see what they have given or what you've given is money. But honestly, the kind of wisdom, the experience, what you have shared here, okay, cannot be compared with that 6 million rupees that we have collected. And I know a lot of people who have called me to say, you know, you just have to sit across and watch you all guys chat. And you chat as friends, and suddenly we find out there's so much of nuggets of whether you call it a wisdom, experience, or things that we can pick up from this discussion and actually find our own solutions. To me, that is worthless. It's so much of value in that I can't even put it in terms of words. So one side we had an anchor donor, one side we had Amitabh, images, the whole team supported, Roy, Anjali, everybody there. And of course, my team of TRRAIN with Amisha, Akash, and all the team members. We set up an advisory board of eminent people, 3 people from the retail industry. So we have Venkatramana there, we have Radhakrishna there, and we have Nancy Desai there, and we have Mr. Dharamjit Singh. And with this, we actually set up a small advisory board so that everything that we do is done in a very transparent way. And the moment we get the applications, it is put together and sent it to the advisory board. They look at it. They have set the ground rules, and accordingly we actually disburse. So So I'm so happy to say, and thank you, Amitabh. Thank you, everybody. Okay, we have hit the 3,000 mark that we wanted to do that. So we have a commitment, and money's 1.23 crores, which means that it will be 3,000 plus a few more. We have, as of yesterday, 250 applications. We have already looked at the 250 applications advisory board, and they have disbursed 67 people they got their monies. So we have begun, and in the next 3 months, hopefully, we should be able to complete this. And then I would definitely see if we still continue with Retail Panchayat, I would like to bring a few of our beneficiaries and ask them to come and join us along with few of our angel donors back and talk about as to how a small initiative like this, okay, can make a big difference. And I think it is should be our endeavor as an industry to pool a fund, okay, which becomes, even if you put $1 a year or $1 a month, okay, maybe in the next 10, 15 years, maybe we'll have $1 billion, which is kept as a fund for such eventualities. And if we don't have such eventualities, and hope we never have such eventualities, at least, okay, this will become a fund which will support the retail associates, whether they're working for restaurant or theater or retail, when in terms of need. So let's not forget that 90% of them are in unorganized sector. They have no PF, no ESIC, and no social security to go back. So we are a strange industry, a large industry, $750 billion, but challenged, whether it's business, people, or their lives. So with that, Amitabh, back to you. Once again, thank you to everybody who has come on the show, every person who's watching this discussion, and every angel donor, and especially Amitabh, you and your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I have also, Nagesh, prepared a small video, which I will play at the end, but I want to thank all those people who have come in the last
Wow.
three
Wow.
panchayats, and I want to thank them. Pramod, can we play that angel donor video, please? Thank you, thank you. Thanks to everybody who supported this. So let's start the fourth retail panchayat. Nagesh, I want to start with Ishwar Chogani, our guest from outside India. I especially wanted him to join Retail Panchayat, and he was very happy to join. And he said, I would support this and I would love to join this. Ishwar, before I come to the overall post COVID era and what's happening and what's going to happen, I have been wanting to ask you this question. And I think we briefly discussed this long time back. A lot of Indian manufacturers and garment brands and apparel companies used to go to Hong Kong to source fashion. And they used to always come back and tell me, Amitabh, do you know this brand called Giordano has 10 shops on the same street? Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. I do.
Why? How could you have 10 shops? Please answer that for me and for a lot of our friends in India who always wondered why 10 shops on the same street. And also tell me, what's Giordano? Really the real Giordano, the company, the business, the number of stores.
Okay, thank you, Amitabh. It's really an honor and pleasure to be here in such an initiative and among my really dear friends, Nagesh and Shailesh. We go back, 20, 25 years with Rahul here. Giordano will be 40 years next year. We are in 35 countries. We operate 2,200 stores globally. It's a public-owned company from Hong Kong. I started as a franchisee and today look after the brand globally. And I sit on the board, and I'm also an advisor as a management committee and advisor, myself, the chairman, and we have 2 other directors. that looks at the global strategy of the group. A lot of changes have been there in the last 20 years, but the brand remains true to itself. You know, the brand still, we're still very much everyday essentials. We provide what our customers need, what our customers look for. It's also a brand that we've always tried to keep our pricing within affordable limits. I know you tried to tell me why not India. Yes, we made mistakes in some markets. In fact, in markets like Pakistan and Bangladesh, we've done very well. And even small, whatever markets we have entered, India, I guess, was very tough to crack. Partly also, maybe it was the biggest learning for me.
Now that
But
you're talking about India, we spoke that. Now
things
that
are
we talk,
moving. Things are moving. Manufacturing has started. We have a licensee in place. Stores have started to open, but again with COVID. But you will see us more visible in the online stores. I think yesterday I shared with you a video of Giordano masks that are now being sold in India.
yes,
So it's not that we have forgotten. For me, it was a big learning. And one of the biggest learning is you cannot sell in India till you make in India. And you cannot treat India as one country. You need to treat it as different countries, because every area, every segment, whether it's Northwest, East, South, I learned that many years ago, but sometimes it was very difficult to run India by remote control sitting in Dubai. So now that we have a team on board, hopefully it is one market that we will see grow post COVID. Things were already in place. So that's what Giordano is all about. As a group, we continue to grow. We have a lot of positive initiatives coming up. We have learned a lot. I think one of the biggest learning I had is that COVID started in China and Hong Kong, where we had most of our stores. So we already had a lot of insights from our chairman and all our market that prepared us so that when COVID came to our other markets, we were already aware of what the situation would be and how bad it could be. And we still have, till today, a way of communicating on a daily global basis. And we have learned a lot during the last few months.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Great. You didn't still answer the 10 stores question on the same street. We will come back
It's
to you.
no longer 10 stores. In the past, yes, but as real estate grew and online, we still have 2 to 3 stores in the same area. In Saudi Arabia, we have 7 within 2 minutes walk. In Dubai,
They all work well. They all work well.
Yes. Because what happens is each of the stores, basically, you have to make sure that every store has a different story to tell, but still everybody knows it's a Giordano store. You know, you may have all white polo in one store, all black polo in another store, or you may have the shirts here. So it depends on the customers. Saudi, especially in the downtown area, you have people from all over the world. So you have to look at the type of customer. Some of the malls get a different customer, some of the people in the streets.
Sure.
So the same thing, even in the UAE, in many countries, we continue. But I don't think that approach may work moving forward.
Sure.
Okay, so now it's going to be more quality locations online. But a lot of our stores we're looking could actually be readjusted, that instead of a full-fledged store, it's more of a showrooming, it's more of a pickup point, it's more of a click and collect. So we're looking at various options.
Great. You remember this, Nagesh? The 10 stores on the same street, and everybody used to talk about it when they used to come to India.
But at that time, rents were affordable, Amitabh.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I had a webinar recently with some of the largest malls, and 10 years ago, we paid 150 dirham a square foot for a store. That same store is 1,500 dirhams.
Oh.
We didn't complain because sales grew, because they had this net effective rent. So as your sales grow, your rent. But today we're paying 1,500, but the sales are not as much as 10 years ago.
But you remember you told me the city center corner store on the first floor, that was your highest selling store in the world?
No, our highest is the one in Mecca.
Mecca.
10 years ago, we paid $400 a square foot per year for rent, you know.
What would be the per square foot sales of that store?
That store can do almost $5,000.
Wow. Oh, Amitabh, I think a lot of people didn't go to Ishwar to get his advice, but if you look at it on the linking road, okay, we had 3 Nikes, 4 Pumas, and lots of these sporting brands actually opened up multiple stores, but they still have 1 or 2 stores on either side. But yes, I think India also tried that. Very difficult to assess as to what makes a person go to the left side of the street and not the right side, and the extreme north end and not the south end. But yes, people attempted it here.
True. But guys, when we tried to enter, I don't think it was affordable, and I think now people are realizing that it's always have the best location, and then move it from there.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll come back to you, Ishwar. Let's go to our friend, Mr. Shailesh Chaturvedi, very old friend of ours. Shailesh, how long have we known each other? 23 years? When you were in Madura Garments. You called me once.
Decades, Amitabh.
You called me once, almost 23, 24 years back. You've done some research on shirts, Amitabh. I'm calling from Madura Garments. You remember that time we first spoke? Yes. And you had a very good journey, Madura to... You went to Hong Kong also for some...
I worked with Benetton in Hong Kong.
Benetton in Hong Kong for Asia Pacific. Then back to Arvind with Tommy.
Back to the JV with Arvind for Tommy, yes.
Tommy came to India almost 10 years back?
2004, the first store opened towards the end of 2004. And I joined in 2006.
2006, okay. Yes, I remember. Before that, Darshan used to.
It's been 14 years with Tommy now, and then CK happened, and now Arrow has happened. So,
I've been wanting to, we've discussed this previously also, the Tommy product, there's something different about it. There's something about it which really stands out. Why hasn't India been able to create a product like that?
If I say...
And Tommy was owned by an Indian man.
Yeah. What happens is that, see, I think the priority, and I've been in this field for 28 years.
Yes.
And in Madura, we used to export to a lot of brands. So I've seen it quite closely on the production side. See, what happens is that every country has its own priorities, right? So India goes for a smaller car. We export a lot of small cars. We go on for generic pharmaceutical. We go for a particular kind of software. So that way also in textile, the priority in India was actually to sell the lower price CNA, the entry level of Gap.
I think, Shailesh, you remember that every businessman in the fashion business would always say, let's build 1,000 crore brand. Tommy has built 1,000+ crore brand. So why won't people look at this opportunity? Can't we make this product? What's the difference between a Tommy product and why aren't we able to make that? Are we not able to make that, or we don't want that opportunity, or we are not capable of grabbing that opportunity?
See, I have a positive feeling that we'll crack it. So I don't have doubt that India will crack it. And today I want to forget what happened in the manufacturing in different sectors in the past. But today, if you have to look at high quality garments or high quality product, I think one key requisite is a very large local market. So today, if India is one of the best two-wheeler manufacturer in the world, it beats China products, it beats Japanese two-wheelers, because domestic market of two-wheeler in India is very, very large. So my personal theory is that if India has very large volume of small cars, then India also becomes an expert at smaller cars of a certain CC engine, and we export a lot of those small cars with our own frugal engineering. So we are seeing that in apparel industry, the local market size is still very, very small. But so the data, if you look at the amount of import we do, it's few $100 million. Very, very small market still. But now the groundwork has been sort of laid out in top 14, 15 cities. There are good malls. You can do business. Online is growing. So I would say the fundamentals of a large volume domestic markets are being set up. And that to me is a very, very big prerequisite for high quality production to happen. And I think that's why I'm a little more positive. And, I would not boast, but brand like Tommy have shown, been an example that, we can run high quality business in India, scale it up. We are in 72 cities in Tommy in India. So, there is now a sort of a benchmark that if Tommy has done business in 72 cities with a particular scale and size, then why can't, we do it? And it sort of pushes other brands also doing. I think it will happen, Amitabh. It's idea whose time has come now. So you will see when we have a panchayat 3 years, 4 years from now, you will see a lot more high quality product. Unfortunately, it's not there. Let's admit that. But I think a lot of options, a lot of fundamentals are being created for that to happen now.
I hope we don't have any more panchayats in the next 2-3 years. Nagesh, you wanted to say something?
I was very intrigued when Shailesh was saying that. Shailesh, tell me, what kind of customers do you see, or what kind of changes do you see in the customers' behavior of today post-COVID that Tommy or any other Indian brand can create 1,000 crore brand?
I can answer pre-COVID little more because of the facts and the data point. What happening post-COVID is still a question mark, and I don't know what will change. But if I assume that in a year's time vaccine gets done and it'll become a new normal, then I can see the graph going. I can answer that question, Nagesh, slightly better. See, what happened is that we saw, in fact, when I was joining Tommy 14 years back, we had clearly two segments of consumers. One consumer was the super rich who were traveling abroad and buying these brands abroad. And we could have chased them and given them a good service in India and taken a 40-50% market share theoretically of that. But we didn't chase that customer. What we did is that we saw India consumption was rising, premiumization was happening in holidays, in mobile phones, in television, in the kind of shoes they were wearing, kind of jeans they were buying. So we said, once the India is expanding, we will chase the consumers of the then current brands of India. So whether the Wills or Madura brands or a Levi's or a Benetton or, Wills. So a lot of these brands which were premium brands that point of time, I said, as their consumers upgrade, we will at Tommy will try to take even if it's a smaller 10% market share, we believe that the business size will be larger and the scale and scope of our opportunity will be much larger. Of course, when you ask somebody to pay more, it's not easy and it takes its own time. But we went after that and we said, internally we said, first hope, we'll be the first international brand that will handle the Indian consumers and bring it to international standard. And then there were some requirements to upgrade the customer, no compromise on standard, no compromise on the product, sensibly priced, good service. So we did a lot of those things. And Nagesh, and we went after the consumer who was buying then premium brands in India, and they are today buying Tommy Hilfiger or Calvin Klein and other brands in India.
We'll come back to you, Shailesh. Rahul is waiting. Rahul, I hope you're not having a beer right now. Do you know that Rahul is a textile engineer?
Oh.
Yes, Rahul is a textile engineer, was in the fashion business, was in the export business, was also with Reebok and Adidas, I think, for a while. Yeah, Rahul? And then moved on to the restaurant business. Why did you move on? And how did you change from professional to an entrepreneur? Why did you become an entrepreneur? What made you become an entrepreneur?
So I've known you for 21 years now, Amitabh. Yes. You know more. Yeah. So I've been married for 25. So I've known you for 21. So you can imagine you are in the same family zone right now. Met you in 1999 when business of fashion started. And at that time I joined Reebok in India. Yes. So I'm a textile engineer, I actually have done various jobs for people for 14 years. And the last 14 years I've created jobs. So that's the two sides to it. So 28 years in it. But yes, in the first 14 years of doing a job for somebody, I started off with a company called Stencil Apparel, which is India's first ready-made garments. Nobody knew what a ready-made garment meant. And this person who ran it, his name is Amit Judge, and he's
Mr.
crazy.
Judge, yes.
He started Barista.
He's in Dubai. He's a friend of Ishwar now.
My good friend.
He's a good friend of Ishwar now. He's moved to Dubai.
I know.
Judge.
I know. Yeah. So the only thing AJ liked was he liked engineers, and he had a soft corner for people coming out of Mayo. So you have an alumni, and we guys have this huge alumni across the world where we try and rub off each other whenever it takes. But long story short, he employed me, and I was the first one from my engineering background to go into the garment industry. I always believed that garments is going to be big, and nobody knew about ready-made garments. We only went to tailors at that time. My father was a gas; he's an IIT engineer, so blue-collared IIT. Purely, he would always believe you had to work in the best of companies in the world. And that's what. So going into a darji company meant like ab tum darji banoge, and that's what happened. But I moved into Triberg. First, I moved to Liz Claiborne, then I moved to Triberg, which took the Liz. So I was one of the first employees of Triberg in India. 94. I worked there for 5 years, and then I said, I've done my garment exports. Let me do something to do with retail and closer home domestic. So chase dollars. Let's see some rupees. And that's the time I was employed at Reebok in India to look after a brand called Rockport. And the strange thing happened there. My first brief was Rockport makes shoes. In Reebok, we're selling a lot of apparel, but obviously it's known as a shoe company. In Rockport, it's only known as a shoe company. Create a line of clothing which can do better than shoes. And I said, but don't you have a line of clothing? He said, no, Rockport doesn't have a line of clothing. So I said, how do you do this? He said, look at the shoes and create a line of clothing. And I said, wow, every time you actually do the reverse, you take out your clothing and you take out your shoes in the end. I've never seen anybody take out the shoes and then, put up clothing around it. But that's what happened. Worked with them, became the director for South of Asia, and, looked after a big sourcing and then Adidas merger happened. So in that merger, things happened, as you know. Merger means basically, and we were acquired so this is the year 2006, 2007. This was a time when you kind of decide whether you want to be this part of this big group or you want to do something. So that entrepreneurial bug, I think everybody has. Among all of us, we've all had that. Nagesh knows that now, having worked with everywhere, and he understands what an entrepreneurial bug can be. And that bit me. Once it bit me, and I said, if 20, 30 years down the line, even if I have failed, which I will, and I will continue to fail, it'll be a lesser regret than actually not being able to do that, something that you always wanted to do. And that's what actually gave me. But it was easy because I had clothing in my thing. I took the rights for Greg Norman, which is a very large golf brand. I've known that company for a very long time. I took the rights for India, and boom, 2008, the financial crisis happened, in the US. And one of the things that gets hit is luxury. So, golf is luxury, and all my orders started to go down and everything went all over the place. This is the time somebody from Dubai came. I've known him for a long time. He came to India because at that time, Dubai was having a tough time. That this guy actually left his car at the airport to come back to India. He just left his car. He's from Australia. And he says, I'm not going to be here. I just left his car with the keys and just came to India. He had a visa for India. We started a business called GolfWorks, which was my first foray for retail directly to consumer. We created India's, or not just India's, but world's
I remember that at Ambience Mall.
Yeah, that's true. It was the world's largest golfing facility you made. 50,000 square foot with Mr. Raj Singh Gehlot, as you may, as a landlord. So you can imagine. And we created this, and it had 35 different golf brands. So it was a dream come true. It was something that everybody in Gurgaon said, you know what, everybody wants to play golf, and you're enabling people. But believe it or not, people were not playing enough golf. What they were coming for was alcohol, for cigars, single ball nights, and all the lovely things. And that's why all the golf clubs in the world have a big clubhouse, right? Apart from the greens. And that's what actually got me closer to something which we call, I think socializing is inescapable and everybody wants it. And that's why I actually moved into beer. So it's a completely story with kind of...
We will continue this story. This story. We have our first angel donor with us, Nagesh. I must tell you, Mr. Ramesh Podar, chairman of Siaram Silk Mills, one of the largest textile companies of India and a very big supporter of personally me and Images. Nagesh, if you remember, the first Images Awards at Taj Lands End now, which was Regent Hotel, where you went on stage and said, the first time ever a Dukandar has got an award. That was all supported by Rameshji. Images had just started. Images, I went to Rameshji and I said, Rameshji, I want to do this for the retail industry. He said, I'm with you, just go all out. So he supported. It was Siaram presents the Images Fashion Awards, the first awards.
Wow.
So I spoke to Rameshji and today he said, great idea, बहुत बढ़िया cause है. I am with you, मैं support करूँगा. and he's here with us. Ramesh ji, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for supporting Ramesh ji. Nagesh, also I must tell you, Ramesh ji ने अभी पीछे एक webinar किया. He was telling me the other day that there are 8 lakh से 10 lakh retailers across the country who are small retailers. 50 lakh, 2 crore, 2.5 crore, 3 crore की turnover वाले retailers who sell textiles. And Ramesh ji has been very supportive of this industry. Let me say it very upfront. He has really supported this retail industry on this side of the business, which is the textile retail industry. And he did a webinar abhi last month किया था ना रमेश जी, मई में. मई में किया इन्होंने webinar, Nagesh, and that webinar was recorded as the Guinness Book of World Record webinar.
I saw that and read that.
Wow.
रमेश जी थोड़ा उसके बारे में बताओ ना प्लीज. क्या था वेबिनार, क्या पर्पस था, और कैसे आपने इन 8 लाख 10 लाख कितने लोग, मेरे ख्याल 10-20 हजार लोग आए थे उस वेबिनार पे, क्या आपने उनको सपोर्ट किया, कैसे मोटिवेट किया, और पर्पस क्या था उसका?
तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू वेरी मच अमिताभ जी, एंड थैंक्स टू नागेश जी. नागेश जी को हम काफी सालों से सुनते आ रहे हैं, सो कांग्रेचुलेशन फॉर सच ए नाइस कॉज. जैसे ही मुझे अमिताभ जी ने बताया, वो तुरंत मैंने कहा कि ये जो यज्ञ कर रहे हैं आप, तो हमें भी मौका दीजिए आहुति देने का, विच सो थैंक यू सो मच. ये जो टेक्सटाइल महाकुंभ हम लोगों ने किया था, हम लोग 400-500 रिटेलर्स को कंटिन्यूअसली मिल रहे थे पॉजिटिविटी क्रिएट करने के लिए रिटेलर्स में, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ देम वर वेरी वेरी नेगेटिव. तो एक बार हम लोगों को ऐसे ध्यान आया कि अपने कंट्री में दी स्मॉल एंड बिग रिटेलर्स आर अबाउट 12 lakhs टेक्सटाइल रिटेलर्स, जिनकी कई की फैमिली शॉप है, कई शूटिंग शर्टिंग की है, कई सिर्फ गारमेंट के हैं. तो उनका एक बड़ा वेबिनार यूट्यूब के थ्रू क्यों ना किया जाए. And we started within 7 days from applying to Guinness Book of World Record. We got the certificate in 8 days.
Wow.
और इसमें 55,000 retailers ने join किया था. And this was a program to teach them how to increase your sale and how to make some more money. और उसमें हम लोगों ने 8-10 जो अच्छे रिटेलर्स जो व्यवस्थित काम कर रहे हैं, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड वे में काम कर रहे हैं, उनसे क्वेश्चन आंसर करके और इनको उससे कुछ अपने रोजमर्रा की उनके शॉप की जिंदगी में कोई टिप्स मिल जाएं. एंड इट वाज अ वेरी गुड प्रोग्राम. और बाद में बहुत सारे लोगों ने बताया, एंड दिस टाइप ऑफ प्रोग्राम्स वी आर ऑलरेडी डूइंग इन आवर कॉन्फ्रेंसेस वेयर 500 to 800,000 रिटेलर्स आर कमिंग, स्मॉल रिटेलर्स. तो उनके लिए जो देखिए हमारे जो बड़े शॉप्स हैं, चेन शॉप्स हैं, they are doing their work in a very very organized manner, but these small retailers they don't know how to, small things they don't know. तो अगर छोटी छोटी बातें भी उनको बताते हैं तो it is very very useful to them. एंड वो जो भी बताते हैं उनको स्टॉक टर्नओवर रेशियो हो या परचेज के लिए कैसे इंटेलिजेंटली परचेज करना है, कैसे करना है, तो छोटी छोटी चीजें से भी उनको बहुत फायदा मिलता है. तो हम लोगों ने सोचा कि ये YouTube के जरिए क्यों न ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को साथ में एक साथ इस तरह का कोई वेबिनार किया जावे. एंड वी वर एबल टू 55,000 लोगों ने इसमें ज्वाइन किया. सो इट वाज अ वेरी गुड प्रोग्राम और काफ़ी एजुकेटिव था उन लोगों के लिए, बिकॉज 7-8 टॉप रिटेलर्स जो बहुत अच्छी तरह से काम करते हैं, दे हैव शेयर्ड देयर सक्सेस मंत्रास विद देम. So it was a good program and our purpose was solved.
नागेश, रमेश जी मेरे को बता रहे थे कि ये जो रिटेलर्स थे, छोटे छोटे आइडियाज भी दो, दे इमीडिएटली इम्प्लीमेंट देम एंड दे बेनिफिट फ्रॉम इट. दैट्स बीन द वे इट हैज हैपेंड ओवर द इयर्स. मैंने भी बहुत सारी कॉन्फ्रेंसेस की हैं रमेश जी के साथ. हमने एक इन फैशन शो किया था रमेश जी के साथ मिलकर. तो these retailers are very large in number and very proactive. बहुत proactively काम करते हैं और बहुत involved होकर, emotionally involved हो जाते हैं. Yes. That is the right word maybe. हाँ रमेश जी? Emotionally. Yes. Which is I
remember very that in fashion days.
Yes, yes. Thank you Ramesh ji. Thank you so much. I would like to play a video of the Guinness Book of World Record which Ramesh ji shared with me, and I want to, Ramesh ji, I have a surprise for you a little. ये रिकॉर्ड का वीडियो हम प्ले करना चाहेंगे. प्रमोद, can you play that Guinness Book of World Record video?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to be present here to listen to all of you because you are such experienced people in this industry. This was the record for most viewers for a retail management YouTube live stream. और मैं आपके साथ ये पूरे लाइव स्ट्रीम में प्रेजेंट हूँ. मैंने सबका जो कहना है वो भी सुना है बिकॉज ये जो पूरा टॉपिक है, ये जो आप कह रहे हैं पूरे इस टॉपिक को रिलेटेड होना चाहिए क्योंकि ये लाइव स्ट्रीम का जो सब्जेक्ट है वो प्री डिसाइडेड होता है. मैंने जैसे शुरुआत में कहा था कि 10,000 मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ पार्टिसिपेंट्स इसमें होने चाहिए और पूरा देखने के बाद आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू से कि आप सब ने मिलके ये रिकॉर्ड सक्सेसफुली ब्रेक किया है और ये एक नया गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड्स टाइटल बनता है. कांग्रेचुलेशंस ऑल ऑफ यू, वेरी वेल डन.
थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, sir.
इसको ऑफिशियल करने के लिए दिस सर्टिफिकेट इज योर्स. This is the official Guinness World Record certificate for most viewers for a retail management YouTube live stream was achieved by CRM Silk Mills Limited, India on 23rd May 2020. Congratulations. And हम Guinness World Records में जैसे कहते हैं, you are all officially amazing. Thank you.
Wow, wow.
Great. This was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ramesh ji. What a great achievement, and he's always been doing things.
Thank you
like
very
this.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh ji.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amitabh. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, Nagesh ji.
supporting. That was Mr. Ramesh Poddar, Nagesh. Very humble man, amazing personality, and really a very supportive.
I must share this. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody who is associated with 8,000 kiranas, and they actually, the company called Snapbase, and they do the software and the POS terminal for them. I mean, kiranas have seen between 40 to 70% jump in their business over the last, okay. And because this is a connected commerce, so they're doing online also. He was telling that he has seen transactions happening at 3 o'clock in the night when the kiranas are receiving goods. So, and early morning, 5 o'clock.
Online?
No. They are doing all the recording because stocks aa gaya, usko intake karna padega, nahi to agle din bech nahi sakte. Okay, and morning the 5 o'clock they go to a distributor and pick up. Nobody realizes that a retailer sometimes works for 17, 18 hours. I mean, if you ask Rahul, I mean, the early morning chefs, when they go and pick up the best of lettuce or the best of meat, I mean, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. They have to be the first in the market to pick up the best. So when you see that nice plated item on your table, or you get, that wonderful garment, I mean, the amount of work goes is amazing. This is an unbelievable thing. And we also realize that this country, post-pandemic, is going to establish that the small is beautiful and small is large. Yeah, this 12 million people that we have, or kiranas or small retailers, okay, they have served the nation so well that this is established now, and they will now be all part of inclusion for any big brand to come. And you see what's happening in Jio, you see what's happening with all others. So कोविड ने जो बर्बाद तो किया, but एक अच्छा काम कर गए कि हमारे रिटेलर्स को उन्होंने सोसाइटी में इंक्लूड कर लिया. And that's, I think, a fabulous thing that's happened.
You remember, Nagesh, Sadhguru also said that yesterday about the small retailers. He said the same thing. He said, they are the people, without them, you wouldn't have been able to survive this. Absolutely. So the large retailers wouldn't have been able to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have our other angel donor joining in a bit early, but fair enough. Nagesh, Mr. Harsh Bansal, Shailesh Harsh Bansal ji is from Rahul, Vegas Mall, Dwarka.
Yes.
He built this mall in Dwarka. Amazing property, amazing location.
We have our stores there. Tommy and Calvin Klein and Arrow and all the brands are there.
Have you already opened? Have you opened?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Harshji, besides the Vegas Mall, he also has 3 other malls. One is with, I think, a big mall in East Delhi with Metro.
Yeah, we have 3 malls in Delhi besides Vegas. One is Unity One at Rohini West, Unity One Rohini Mall. Then we have Unity One at Janakpuri, where the Shopper Stop, the Nagesh First Love, and the other stores are there. And then we have one in East Delhi, where we have Metro Cash and Carry and Reliance brands and so many other brands are there. So we have three malls in Delhi, particularly in the name of Unity One, and one in Panipat in Haryana, Unity One, and the Vegas. And then we have one auto mall also in Delhi, that is Agarwal Auto Mall in Shalimar Place. So these are our retail outlets mainly. Then we have around 100 plus commercial building in Delhi in the name of Agarwal Tower and Agarwal Plaza. But those are the commercial office and mixed land use properties.
Great.
So I just heard about I just heard about your taking care of you can say retail.
Amitabh, I always say when people like him invest into their money into infrastructure for malls and others, then when we can grow our brands to 1,000 crore turnover, because we need, they are the highways on which we drive our car in a way, right? I mean, till the malls happen, the department store happen, infrastructure happen, the brands alone cannot grow. So wonderful to see somebody who is growing the infrastructure for us to do business.
But I have been saying this, Shailesh, in the last 3 months, that shopping centers are the infrastructure for modern retail. Imagine modern retail 15 years back. There was no modern retail. There were only high streets. And how many stores? You could have never said, I have 100 stores in India without this, without the shopping centers in India. I think they are the infrastructure of modern retail. And Harshji has actually, I've been in touch with him for the last few years, and he understands the need for shopping centers and the kinds of shopping centers. And I'm sure you've seen the Vegas Mall, the way he's built it and the way they are nurturing it. Harshji, thank you for joining us and contributing for this cause. We are really grateful and honored that aapne contribute kiya, and thank you for coming. Nagesh, would you like to say something to Harshji?
I just want to thank Harshji for his contribution and his magnanimity, and to support a cause like this. At the end of the day, people are not employed in a retailer; they're employed in a retailer who's in a mall, and actually we are part of the community. Yeah, and I know it's tough times. The layoffs have happened from the business only, but if some of the business leaders come back and look at it with two different hats, and you're running a business, you're also a part of the community, and if everybody comes and supports, I'm sure this is just the beginning, Amitabh. I'm sure एक दिन आप retail panchayat करोगे जहाँ 50,000 लोग आएंगे, and you don't have to do 4 panchayats to raise funds for some good cause in retail. You will probably do it in 1 panchayat, but we require a lot of people like Harshji. But thank you, Harshji. Thank you for the support.
Thank you, Nageshji. Thank you, Amitabhji. I'm a big fan of Nagesh from the last decade or so, because Nageshji and Kishorji and Ajay Bijliji, I admire 3-4 people who started this, you can say, organized retail around 20 years back. उससे पहले का ज़्यादा मुझे मालूम नहीं है, but around 2000 we met Nageshji for our Netaji Subhash Place property in Pitampura for opening shopper store there. So just when I go to know that this noble cause is being initiated by Amitabhji and Nageshji, touched my heart. It's actually really a noble cause, because I personally feel that shopping center and retails both are like soul and body, and they can only they made for each other. It's like cinema and the content. It's like you can name anything. Without retail, shopping center is just a body. There is no soul. It's a brick and mortar, and it's like you can say temple without the that ideal, you can say. So we both have to live together, and the retail staff. I will advise, can say one thing, that you are doing a good cause to train the retailers. Please train them in such a way that they can be used for multitasking. Like they can be employee of even the mall developer. It's not that retailer. We also need retail team who can assist us in, you can say, managing, guiding our retailer team also, like our team who can keep an eye on the retailer. They are keeping the merchandise, right merchandise, right, you can say, stock, SKUs, everything. They are keeping track on that. Similarly, the other field, like the retailer team can also be helpful for, even they can be cashier of the store. They can be even stock taking assistants, or they can even do a role of security even. And so there are so many jobs in retail as well as in retail development the staff, if is multi-trained, can be used so many ways. It's a retail staff. It's not a developer staff or it's a retailer staff. The person, the team who understands retails is a retail staff. And these days, this online course helps a lot to the staff. So I will request Nagesh that you can initiate some of the courses which can be multitasking, and just that can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks online course, very small, crispy, and just to, you can say, train them for various, you can say, aspects of the retail. So thank you very much. I'm 100% with you. We are excited. We are not stopping our new development. We are coming up with new development rather in a big, better way. We are coming up with a bridge to luxury mall in Netaji Subhash Place, around 450,000 square feet. And we are coming one more development in Rohini. So we are equally as excited as you guys. We all know that this 6 months or maybe 1 year is a tough time, but happy days will come again. Happy days will
Harji, would you like to say something about Rajesh? Did you know that he's the licensee for Versace in India? Versace apartments. Sir, Versace, right?
Yeah, we are coming with the luxury apartments in central Delhi. This is a 40 acre of land, and we are coming up with one exclusive branded residencies with Versace. Yes. And then we have around, you can say, 20 more towers. The Versace tower is the iconic tower. It's around 50-story high. It's the double higher than the highest building in Delhi. The highest building in Delhi is 104 meter, and this tower is 208 meter high. And from this tower, we have in the top of this tower, we have infinite swimming pool. From the same swimming pool, on one corner, you can see Red Fort, Mr. Modi delivering Independence Day speech. And the same pool, the other end, you can see Republic Day parade on you can see India Gate. Wow. So this it's very iconically located and very, you can say, iconically designed, and it's a very luxury project. This project is in various phases. The total number of apartments is around 3,500. Oh. So it's a reasonably good number.
It's a very large development.
Yeah, we are also planning to have some boutique retail in that particular residential project too. So we are all excited, and this tough time, in my opinion, will not last more than maybe this calendar year. And this is the only year we have to jointly, you can say, sail through. And then next year certainly will come back again, and with all, we can say, numbers will come back.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harji. Thank you so much for your contribution and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Great. So we already had three are sitting with us, friends, and two already have been. We have 2-3 more coming. I must tell you, some very exciting donors coming in after this. So please wait, and there's somebody who's coming in who's a very exciting donor, and I won't like to name him right now. I want to keep that as a secret.
Amitabh, I want to make a comment, quick comment that, while we build the brands, and we mentioned about the highway that the shopping mall makes for us. And, when I was working in Madura, we were building Louis Philippe Van Heusen, and we used mass media. The Glaze magazine, India Today happened that time, and Sunday Times of India happened, and we built brands on that, and then we distributed to a lot of MBOs, and then the department stores started coming in. And then, the glamour, the Bombay Times and the Delhi Times happened, and our friends in Nikhil Provog or Sanjay Kapoor and Genesis, they built a couple of brands on MediaNet, paid advertising through the city supplements, and then department stores were happening. So Nagesh has led that journey quite well, and and then from department store to now malls. If I have to say the biggest contributor environment for building Tommy CK, I would say malls. Without them we wouldn't have reached anywhere. And now online will do that for some other kinds of brands where they could build their scale through online reach. And I'm sure Ishwar is here, and he could give us example of how Dubai saw this happening, and we saw mass media to city supplements to department store to malls to online. I don't know if Dubai had a similar trajectory which helped them build brands or something else.
We will come to Ishwar because I think we have some continuous donors coming in because this is the last. You must please understand. We want to raise money and we will come back to you. Devinder Chawla. Mr. Chawla, how are you, my friend?
Hi, Amitabh. I'm fine. Sorry, guys. I'm not. I think. I hope my audio is clear. The video might
audio
not
is very
be.
Clear.
So, first of all, I've been listening to this for some time.
Let me introduce Devinder. Let me introduce Mr. Devinder Chawla. Is the managing director of Spencer's, Nagesh, and he heads the Spencer's retail business now. And he's contributed to us as an angel donor. Thank you, Devinder. First, we must thank you, and then we would like you to say a few words.
So I actually, hi, Nagesh, and I think Amitabh, I don't think you should thank anybody. We need to thank you because I think to come up with an idea like this for retail associates and, to make sure that, train and like to be managing, and in this current times with the upheaval and so much of, uncertainty, to be able to hold hands of people who run the stores, who run retail, who run supply chain for 3 months, I think it's not a small thing. I think, first of all, many congratulations, and also to enroll them for the government relief scheme. I think, and if we are able to do that collectively, I think not just me, I think from the whole of Spencer's and Nature's Basket, and I'm sure from the industry, there's so many senior people here. I would like to thank you and Nagesh for leading this and taking it up. And I think you've been doing wonderful stuff. Yesterday, I saw Sadhguru Jaggi's video also.
Yes.
And the question you asked on millennials and about what your daughter, and so I think this is great contribution to the retail industry. And
thank you, sir.
It's humbling to see people like Nagesh, who like, right in the early days, and somebody mentioned Pitampura, and actually I grew up there. And somebody mentioned about the first or one of the first Shoppers Stop store.
Yeah.
And I was in Saraswati Vihar, which is right opposite that main road. So it's like Pitampura is, and that time people never even knew Teachers Colony.
So were you visiting that Shoppers Stop store? Were you visiting that Shoppers Stop store in Pitampura?
I had seen it definitely. Because I had moved Amitabh to Bombay many years back. So my parents are there. So whenever I go and meet them, I remember.
So after Coke, you were in Coke. You were heading Coke at one time, and then you.
Yes, but I can tell you the first retail store I would have visited organized was the SV Road Shoppers Stop for sure.
Okay, sure.
This is I think mid 90s, and it blew our mind that like the size of it, and we had not seen Selfridges or Oxford Street that point of time. So it like hit you so hard, and then you fall in love with retail. So I think a lot of us. Even Spencer's, like Food World, when I was in Coca-Cola in 2003, 2004, I was a director in Coca-Cola in Hyderabad for South. And that was my first, touch point in life when I went to a Food World store and I realized what is modern trade. And then Raghu Pillai used to be the CEO. And then, of course, he became my boss in Reliance for a couple of years. And he was also the CEO of Food World Spencer's. And that's how we got inducted and fell in love with retail. So I think hearing these nostalgic stories from people on the panel, I think also brings a great joy that we need to protect and we need to stand by people who have. And while we are the leaders, I was telling somebody that if I ask anybody that in the last 80 days or whatever lockdown, or even a week or 10 days before lockdown, the fear of the COVID had started, I asked so many people in my company and outside that, would you be okay to go to a store and work every single day in a store from the last 70, 80 days? And not a lot of people were comfortable, but our staff has done that. I mean, for us at Nature's Basket and Spencer's and at least all the essential companies, we haven't taken a single day off. And I can admit, it's not that every day I go to the store. I'll go once in a week at best or once in a while. But hats off to our warriors who've done it. And I think we need to protect these people and we need to do whatever is right. So I think I'd once again thank Nagesh and Amitabh, as you've led many initiatives in the food forum, or bringing people, companies together, or India Retail Forum, and now this initiative. I think great to see innovation, and at least you guys are still at it.
Yes,
And we are
yeah.
following you. So thank you very much for
Thank
doing
you,
this.
sir.
And whatever little bit I think we all can do, it's our privilege to be able to do that.
Thank you,
Thank
Devendra.
you so much. Thank you, Devendra ji. Thank you so much. Thanks, sir. Thanks for coming and joining us. I wish we could see you. No problem. Next time.
Amitabh, I have a question for Rahul, if time permits.
Sir, yes, we have 1 hour left. We have 1 hour. So
Rahul,
we have lots of questions. Yes, please carry on.
So I just wanted Rahul to tell me as to, Beer Cafe is not about beer. It's about social, it's about food, it's about belonging, it's about friends, it's about network. And I think it's a community within a community. Yeah. What are the elements of this that he feels is in trouble, and what are the elements he thinks will be able to pull this out? Because this is a very important part, and I don't know whether your son and daughter would have told you, but I'm sure there would be a customer perspective, or they must be already going without telling you. But it's a different story. Will come later, Amitabh. Yeah, but I'm saying that community. So Rahul, I would love to hear from you on that.
Beer as a product is one of the oldest recipes known to man. It's been there forever. It was actually discovered by a woman, if you may, and it's something which is consumed after water and tea. So it's the third largest consumed beverage in the world. You'll be surprised, in India, it's also the second largest packaged beverage after aerated drinks. It's more than milk. It's more than packaged water. It's more than all the juices put together and stuff. So it's actually, it's a 50. Yeah, in India, it's a 55,000 crore market size every year. So India's liquor business is 3.5 lakh crore, out of which 55,000 crore comes from beer. So technically, from a liquor point of view, beer in India is very small. In the world, it's 80-20. 80 beer, 20% spirits. In India, it's reverse, because India is all about getting intoxicated or getting a high. So even if they want to drink a beer, they want the strongest beer. So it's not about savoring the beer. It's all about what I call. But what's happening with the new generation is that taste is taking over testosterone. So you don't want to get high, you want to enjoy it, you want to savor it. And that's where the Beer Cafe actually puts in. So it's all about love for beer. We actually aggregate, if that's the word to be used, from about 21 countries, more than 50 beers. It's a very difficult, most regulated. Every state in India, there are 36 of them. Only 29 are dry. The others are, 29 are wet, sorry. The other 7 are dry. So it's a complicated process to get the product out. The other problem with beer is the only liquor which expires. Just like in the fashion world, it expires due to the fashion and size and otherwise. In this case, every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, your beer is gone. Just to let you know, as we speak, during the lockdown, we've lost 3 crores worth of beer. Wow. Just lost it. Lost. That's worth 10 crore rupees on the menu price. I'm giving you 3 crores of cost. Wow. So that's the kind of loss we've suffered. Now the government's not helping me by saying, let me give it. So now this is where the conundrum comes in. My son loves beer. He's 20 years old. He's come back from college. He's right now with us, sheltered in a home. I have a tap at home. I've got all the paraphernalia. All my neighbors want beer, and we can't supply enough. It's summertime. Everybody wants a beer. I can't supply. I've done so many beer deliveries and services for Amitabh's parties and other events. If you remember, now I can't do that because technically I'm regulated not to do that. So I have beer, the resource going down the drain. I can't do anything about it. And at the same time, there are people who are parched. They want to drink it. Now this is a crazy supply and demand situation which cannot be solved because the government and the states basically have their own mindset which says, no, regulate. The Britishers actually put all the license rules and we perfected it. We like perfection of red tapeism in India. We just created this huge red tapeism which actually doesn't allow you to prosper. And this is the best case where everything could have changed. Today, you can change any law. You cannot get a better time. This is the mend time. When people say, what is the time? I said, it's the mend time. Anything we can do as a country. Imagine tourism can be promoted. So there's so many things we can do. There are, basically just at this point in time, we have these really low-hanging fruits which we can benefit from. So Having said that, we are under a lockdown still, though on 8th of June, as you know, that the malls have opened. Before that, high streets have opened. Restaurants have opened on 8th of June. They're not doing well because, yes, you know, social distancing is a big one. We come under phase 3. Phase 3 in India is for bars and cinemas. And bars is what we come under technically. So we are a restaurant serving beer, but it's still a bar. We don't know what the phase 3 is because the guidelines, as you know, under the Unlock 1.0, which to me is Ram Bharose 1.0, clearly says phase 3. Now, when's the phase 3? We have no idea. So we're all waiting with bated breath with 750 people sheltered at the home. That's our workforce. Sitting at home, we don't know what to do. We don't have anything else to do. So we can create strategies and do anything. I can't deliver beer. I can't serve it to you. I can't put it in an e-commerce package and ship it to you right now in Mumbai. I can't do nothing. I'm just sitting at home like this and you know, enjoying this webinar with you.
Oh,
so that's how it is.
Amazing. I mean, we don't understand sitting outside your industry, Rahul, as to what it goes. I mean, especially when you say 3 crores of beer down the drain. Yeah, perishable to that extent. But let's not forget that if this is happening to you, an organized player, an entrepreneur who at least has his mind, what must be happening to those vegetable vendors and fruit vendors on the street who have been told that you can open on Monday and then Wednesday and Friday, and you can't open on Saturday, Sunday, and that thing has only 24 hours of life, and they're told not to open for 2 days. I do understand life is important, but that's I'm going on their side and looking at the plight that they have to go through. It's a very strange situation that all of us are.
And curfew to that, Nagesh, you know, it's not that 8 baje ke baad the corona doesn't hit. The COVID will hit you anytime. So I would rather say, if you're opening it for more hours. Imagine if there's a temple with 2 hours of queue, it'll be a mess. Open the temple for 24 hours. I would say open the mall till 3 in the morning. Malls will support us. Open the mall, because if I have to shop, I'll go at 1 in the morning to shop. Maybe I have less people there. Why would I be now 8 o'clock last order? Why would anybody even have dinner at 7:30? India, nobody has dinner at 7:30. Okay. Open it up. If you're opening it up. That's what I'm saying. Just open it up. You know, make it into hours. Create distances. Do all that. You can do it. We go and do grocery shopping in modern bazaars and modern retail right now. Every day we're going. It's all done very well. They allow a certain number of people. There is a whole distance. It's all working. Ishwar knows it. We've seen so many pictures coming in from Dubai where the social distancing been done very well. The bars are open. The restaurants are open. I don't know what we're waiting for. Just create the right guidelines and let's go. It's here to stay. Our old lives won't come back, but we have to live, right? So we have to go back to it. It's as simple as that. Can't keep waiting.
Yeah. Over to you, Amitabh.
Yes, sir. Yes. Let me go back to Ishwar. And Ishwar.
Yes, Amitabh.
The last 3 months, what are the lessons learned for the future? Where are we going? What has Giordano thought about it? What are you thinking in terms of the post-COVID retail of Giordano? And how are you strategizing? You have 2,000 stores across and the whole world has been affected.
Yeah. So, you know, as a retail for over 40 years, we've learned to be resilient. We've gone through different ups and downs, whether geopolitical, economic, everything, so many. But this one is different. It hits everybody from across all sectors, you know. And like one of the first quote that I saw just before COVID was, we cannot always control what's happening, but we can control how we respond to what's happening. And realize that no matter what it is, there's going to be a lot of opportunities moving forward. We have passed 6 months of COVID. All of us who have been at home under lockdown, it has brought about the best of every human being in terms of trying to understand who they are. We learned a lot of things at home. We learned to do a lot of new things. We learned to actually manage our entire lives sitting inside. And that has given us a lot of a whole new paradigm on how we can do things. It's going to be very tough for us as a retailer because many people now realize they don't have to go out, they don't have to come, they don't have to shop. Human beings are resilient. They find ways to adapt. So now that things have opened, we have gone through a situation where there was fear, there was frustration, and now there is acceptance. But acceptance may be there, but the biggest worry is the media has to play a part. One of my recent discussions in the webinar here is what I notice is that things are improving because the media has also decided that let's move away from the fear and frustration and communicate in a very different way to the people. And now people are going out, people are realizing that, you know, there's life outside home. It's now our responsibility to make sure that, you know, we cannot always keep it on the government, and the government should also realize that after keeping everyone at home, people want to go out. You know, people would have learned while being inside. So we now have to look that what we sold pre-COVID and what may sell post-COVID may be very different. Because if you really look at it, even now when we're on a Zoom call with 200 people, people don't have to wear proper trousers. You know, you can wear shorts, you can wear jogging pants. So we need to adapt. You know, we need to look at, you know, what are people looking for now? Because right now, a lot of people, there's uncertainty. People will really want to hold on to their money. So we need to offer what they're looking at, you know, increased value, more savings. So other thing that we have realized is that as long as you can communicate to your people and also your customers that things are safe, that we're doing everything possible, that our first priority is our people and our customers, they will keep coming. And in the last 8 weeks since we have opened, we noticed that actually things are improving. You know, business is growing day to day. However, moving forward, we need to look at the different shifts in how the consumers are buying. You know, we have to minimize the contact, health and hygiene. You know, we know there's going to be less footfalls, but if a customer walks in our store today, we know he's a real buyer. So what we have to do everything we can to get him to buy. So the next step we have to look at is our supply chain, like what Nagesh mentioned. It's going to be more of less is more. It's not about doing all things to all people. We really have to reduce our SKUs because many of the items that sold before may not sell moving forward. We have to be very careful. All of us are now having a lot of inventory. The challenge is how do we move it? You know, if we're going to start this over discounting, it's going to be like a drug. So for us as a group, we are moving the merchandise, whether it globally, regionally, locally. We are looking at the 80-20 approach because 80% of our business come from our everyday essentials. So we really have to look at our supply chain. We have stopped all future orders. We have enough merchandise for the next few months. We move merchandise, we share merchandise. That way we can continue to get the best possible price on this item. So those are some of the things. Other things that we can look at, like what I said, is your customers today don't care what you sell, how you're selling. They really want to care what you're doing for society. You know, what else are you doing? How are you making the world a better place to live on? And moving forward, we learned in this last 3 months how important online is going to be. I think like what people say, COVID was the biggest teacher for any company. I know of companies here that grew their online 20 times in the span of 2 months that would have taken them 5 years. So really moving forward to embrace the new normal, we need to add more value to our offerings. We need to be community driven and focused. We need to reshape and repurpose our asset base. We may not need 2,000 stores. Some of the stores can be repositioned. And again, very important, the first, as a group, we're going to look at our omni-channel offering. How do we bridge the gap between online and offline? One of the things that two things I'd like to share with you before I end my part. In a situation like this, an unexpected crisis brings to the surface the tiny fractures that were unnoticeable during the good times. Now is fertile ground to relearn some of the lessons of the past and form the wisdom of the future. Now, as retailers here, there's no way retail will ever die because retail has been there for generations, thousands of years. And I've said this many times before, that any good retailer, there are three things that every good retailer does and should do. Number one is identify what's important. Number two, make it obvious. And third, make old new again. Let's keep reinventing ourselves. Look at some brands like Puma, Adidas, Madonna. Everybody thought they were dying and they kept reinventing. Once we all go back to work, we can actually see a lot of brands have reinvented themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishwar. Great thoughts, great thoughts. Great. Before I come back to you, Shailesh, our friend Rahul Veera, country head Skechers India, is here with us. He's our angel donor next in. Rahul, my friend, how are you? Thank you for being a part of this, Rahul. Thank you for your contribution to this cause.
I know. It's an amazing thing that you guys are doing. Thank you, Amitabh, and thank you, BSN sir. This is a great thing. I mean, I really appreciate for taking this initiative.
You worked at Shoppers Stop, no, Rahul? You worked with BSN, no?
BSN has been the early boss.
Okay, which year was that?
This was way back in 1995-96.
Okay, great.
Rahul was part of our management trainee batches, and this was, I think, one of the brightest batches that we had. And from this batch, you'll find so many CEOs in the industry today. And I feel very, very proud that we all have worked together. And today there's so much to learn from people like Rahul and all, who have really created some new ways of working in retail. I mean, what he has done for Skechers is unimaginable. In a short period, the way he has grown it. Yeah. I only wish that there is a meter by which you can understand that which of these management trainees will become a CEO, and you have a way to catch them and keep them for 20 years. Yeah. And do a good job. Yeah. But anyhow, I think Rahul has done a great job. And Rahul, thank you for supporting this cause, and we really appreciate.
My pleasure, sir. It's an amazing initiative. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you. Just wanted to thank you to come online with us and say a few words. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nagesh, before we move on, I also want to thank a very dear friend of mine who's contributed but is not coming online. He could not. So let me give you a small background about this person. He's a friend from Dubai called Raza Beg, the CEO of Splash, Iconic, and the Landmark International Group.
Amitabh, everybody in the industry knows Raza. So
okay, great. So he's also the
Raza Beg and all, it becomes very, very formal. Just say Raza and everybody knows.
Great. So Raza, thank you very much. I know you're watching this. Thank you so much for your contribution. Nagesh, I must tell you that when I spoke to Raza about this, he said, wow, amazing. Amitabh, let me tell you, once I retire, I'm going to do something like this, what you guys are doing.
Ask him to join. Ask him to extend the train in UAE. Okay. Online, I'm appointing the UAE head of business for train.
Sure. And also, I must tell you that I told him about the money we were collecting and how much we've collected. Before that, he said, I'm contributing this much.
Yeah.
I said, no, I don't want this much. That's too much. So I actually had to cut it to half because I said, no, we've reached our target for the first milestone. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how he is.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Raza is a very passionate fashion professional. And all of you know Raza. I don't think we need to introduce Raza. Raza runs $1 billion business, 220 stores across 55 brands, 34 stores in KSA, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar. Amazing professional, amazing friend, and inspiration for a lot of people in the fashion business. Thank you, Raza, once again.
Well done, Reza. I know Reza on the first week he came to Dubai.
Okay.
That's how long.
Great. Thank you. Let's move on, Nagesh. Nagesh, we were talking about it yesterday when we spoke about this with Sadhguru. We said we will ask everybody this question. What's the learning from this? And what Sadhguru also said, that don't plan anything, don't think anything. it unfold. Prepare yourself. Get ready for it. Mentally, physically, emotionally ready for whatever happens. If it does not last very long, this post-COVID, you will still be able to face it. If it lasts long, you will still be able to face it. So I think, Shailesh, what's the learning from this 3 months of lockdown? What have you thought? What have you introspected? What do you think are the big learnings or outcomes? Ajay, we will come back to you.
Level.
Give us at a personal level.
I would say, 2-3 learnings come top of my mind right now at a personal level. One thing, I realized that there is a lot of need for collaboration, partnership. Often in corporate world, we use these words, we misuse these words sometimes, because everything must add together, partnership. But here, very genuinely, you realize that you needed to partner with government, with the mall owners, with the department store, with the employees. And as we are the part of the PVH International, we regularly interacted with them to see what's happening in China and what's happening in Europe. And so I think while we get busy, our time sort of, everybody has busy life. But I think what made me ponder is that there is a lot of, need to partner, collaborate on a regular basis, so that when something like this happens, you have a basic understanding and the chemistry that you can then attend to some of these crises. So one learning at my individual level, I would invest more time collaborating and partnering. We'll have to figure out how you get that time in our busy life. But I think partnership, collaboration is a sine qua non. It's definitely need of the, running businesses going forward. That's one. Second thing, also at a very personal level, is need for patience. What happens is that, thing like COVID, it just, you get free, you get frozen. You know what to do, but you can't get out of the house. You're locked down. You can do your Zoom call, etc. But, you're like helpless. You are sort of, chained in a way. You can't do many things that you want to do. And mentally, you need to say, I need to do this, but I need to have the patience to just wait for it to go. And like, I'll give you an example. Now, we open the malls, and, a lot of malls are doing 10%, 15% of the business. And you feel, sometimes frustrated. It's such a small business percentage right now. But then I was checking the China data, and I realized that they also had initial 3 to 4 weeks after lockdown got lifted. We had similar numbers, very similar trajectory till they became 40%, then 60%. And after 3 months, they became equal to last year. So we know that it's a waiting game patiently, because it's about consumer. They need to feel safe. They need to remove their hesitation to come to places like malls or wherever. So need a lot of patience in a mindset. You know what's going to happen, but just let it happen very, very patiently. Wait for the right time. Otherwise, we can make mistakes if we become impatient. And third, and the final thing is, in a lot of, I've seen people, losing their salaries or losing their jobs or in the industry and etc. Very, very frustrating for, as a community, we want to help. But, while this initiative, what you're doing in Retail Panchayat is fantastic, and hats off to Nagesh and to Amitabh. I really love what you're doing. I've also been giving another message to my team, and message to them is that, why do you need help? Can you do something in your life that you become the best at doing something small? And that message I keep giving on a daily basis to myself and to my team, saying, we need to reach a point, whatever happens, we don't need somebody's help. And that will happen if you are really good at something small, even if something small at a national level. Definitely at your company level, at your city level, at your, industry level. But if you are a good visual merchandising person at a national level, and you may be just 30 years old, who is going to cut your salary? Who's going to, make your job go away? I mean, finally, like PM said, Atmanirbhar, it's your own need to reach a certain point in your life in terms of your capability. It's not easy for me to talk about it, but to achieve to be best at something at a country level is not easy. But the path has to be there. The ambition our aspiration has to be that I want to be the best in my company at this small thing. Then tomorrow we'll say I want to be the best at something at a country level, and some of these aspirations and capabilities and abilities will protect us, in tough situations at all. So these are a couple of things like mental patience, like collaboration, and also that ambition, aspiration to be the best at something small, but at a country level.
Great. That's great idea. Great. Let me come to somebody, Nagesh. We have an angel donor who's best at something which he created, maybe one of the finest food service brands in India. Ajay, hi. Welcome, sir.
Namaskaram, Anna.
Namaskaram, sir. Namaskaram.
Hi, Ajay.
Hi, Nagesh. Long time. How are you?
Good, very good.
Shailesh, Rahul, and Ajay, Ishwar from Dubai. Shailesh, you know Ajay?
Yeah,
of course, I know Ajay. Everybody knows Ajay. Who doesn't know him?
Yes. So, Nagesh, Ajay is our angel donor today. And
thank you.
Very happy to contribute, and he was really forthcoming, and he said, Amitabh would love to be a part of this. And thank you, Ajay, for really being a part of this and contributing for this cause. Ajay is
Thank
now
you. My pleasure and my honor.
Yes, sir. Ajay, you are now working with a fund, I think. You're working with a fund. You moved on from Domino's and
not full time, but yes, I am a bit more in the private equity and investing space. I'm committed to a few days in a month with Everstone Capital Advisors. So that is what is my main occupation. Apart from that, I'm invested in a few companies and I mentor them. And then doing a little bit of work with Nagesh, in the Isha Leadership Academy, and also pursuing some personal interests. I like painting. I like singing. You singing probably, So
yes,
I'm actively during the COVID period. I'm actually, being pretty active in that, in finishing 4 or 5 paintings and also, launching some of my songs.
Wow! Can we listen to one of your songs, please?
Yeah, I was waiting for this to happen.
Oh boy!
I was waiting for this to happen.
Hi, Rahul. It'll be nice to listen.
In a serious session where people are trying to resolve, the global challenges.
No, we are 5 friends sitting and chatting. We were 5 friends sitting.
No, it's going to make a difference if we hear you sing. It's going to make a difference.
Maybe it's not a bad thing because let me give you a few weeks back actually, I very impulsively, it took me 10-15 minutes honestly to launch a clip on what Bollywood, some of the Kishore Das song, and I'm a fan of his, what they tell us about Zindagi, and clearly during the COVID period, how certain stark realities have come in front of us. So I'll just pick up a couple of songs which are my favorites. One is something which was said by one of the speakers earlier on, that look, less is more. Basically, be happy with what you have. Don't aspire to have too much in life, and be happy. So here it goes. First song. Thoda hai, thode ki zarurat hai. Zindagi fir bhi yahan khoobsurat hai. Thoda hai, thode ki zarurat hai. And one more thing which I think Shailesh was talking about was collaboration and cooperation. And clearly COVID has told us that you cannot get past, this hurricane or call it tsunami alone. You are into it together. So hold each other's hands and take this thing in a fun fashion, in a lively fashion. And so the song is, Tum bhi chalo, hum bhi chale, chalti rahe zindagi. ना ज़मीं मंजिल ना आसमां जिंदगी है जिंदगी तुम भी चलो हम भी चले चलती रहे जिंदगी. Thank you.
Great, sir.
Nice. Thank you.
There is a request which has come on the chats to say that you can't let Ajay go without his whistling.
whistling song.
Yeah.
You remember you sang once at one of our events, whistling song.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I put up my first 2 recorded whistling songs just 2 days back on Facebook. So maybe somebody has probably listened to them. Okay, let me quickly try one.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you, Ajay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir. Thanks.
You people are doing an outstanding job. Amitabh, when you approached me, while I knew already what was happening, it didn't take me a moment to kind of say that I'm in it.
Yes,
I will
sir.
support you. You know, even a small drop sometimes, you know, makes an ocean. So I'm really privileged and honored to be a part of this.
Thank you.
I'm really happy for what you guys are doing, and you are really inspiring. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution and for coming on board. Thank you, Ajay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Nagesh, we are at 7 p.m. We have 15 minutes more, maybe.
Oh, wow. I thought you were wanting to close. You have extended the session. I love it.
What do you say, guys?
Yeah.
Shailesh, 10 minutes more, 10, 15 minutes. We are enjoying this. I think it's an interesting chat.
Amitabh, you know, my standard answer is whatever you want, Amitabh, you get.
We're all having good fun.
Yeah.
It's been a long time seeing you all. It's really nice.
Yes. No, I want to ask Nagesh, Shailesh, this thing which I've been talking to Shailesh we keep talking about things, and Shailesh once told me the HR head in the company should be the CEO. Shailesh, you remember you said?
Actually, Jack Welch, you know, the GE, the famous GE CEO, he wrote in his book that the HR head should be the second highest paid employee in the company. And then I was telling Amitabh that why shouldn't be the highest paid? Let the CEO be the HR head. In that context, yeah.
So tell me, how do you run Tommy and Kelvin with the kind of people you have nurtured in Tommy? Every salesperson in the store you go to is amazing. The way they know about the product and the way they approach you and the way they talk to you. And I've been going to your stores very often. You know that.
I would put it on Ishwar, and I when we were chatting about it. So I remember 20 years back, I used to go to Dubai, and we were exporting, you know, brands, Louis Philippe and other brands that I used to work on to Landmark Group in Dubai. And one of the trips, of course, we always trouble Ishwar in Dubai on Giordano. And I remember that we were talking, and he had these 6-7 young store managers waiting outside the office. And he would spend sometimes just 5 minutes or sometimes 15 minutes. And I remember I asked Ishwar, and Ishwar is here, he can give his inputs. And I asked him, he says, why, you know, he says, it's just a quality process that you want to make sure that the things that come into the company are sort of checked. And once Ishwar himself is putting time, then the whole system also gets little, you know, energized, and they want to make sure they send the right people to Ishwar, and they take that extra care. And I think that one mantra, that experience stuck in my mind. And we always said that we should hire personal basis, like, you know, make sure that comes in. In fact, instead of me answering, why don't we hear from the Guru Ishwar himself? Ishwar, how do you handle that, please? Because you are the inspiration. I should keep my mouth shut.
Thank you, Shailesh. But we learn a lot every day. But I also realized during COVID, when the office opened and we had to do 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and 1/2, 1/2. And I said to myself, if I go as 1/3, the others may not see me. So I actually went every day, even for an hour, just to show my face. Because when everybody was indoors, they opened the stores and did everything themselves. You know, so I realized that gradually now everyone is mature enough And as a company, what I've also done from the last 20 years is that any two people can take a decision if I'm not available. Means any two department heads or any department, as long as it's cross departments. And that's worked very well, that today in all our markets globally that started from head office, we have a management committee. So same thing here, the management committee can actually run the company because they have the same power as me. But then when you put an individual to take over, let's say, I'll say I'm stepping back and somebody, there would always be politics inside. So till such time, that works very well. And also from the beginning itself, from the day people join us, we never say that they work for us, because all of us work with each other. You know, like even sometimes say, oh, I met this person, he works for you. My whole thinking from day one of anybody we bring in, that you work with us. You know, we brought you because we need you. You chose us because you liked us. So it's all about mindset. It's all about creating that mindset. And, you know, I'm very, very happy to say that we have a 92% retention rate.
Wow.
Now, again, it may be very different in other countries, but then because here, 100% of our team members have to come from outside. A lot of them have been handpicked. For the first 20 years of the company, I picked them myself. Fortunately, the last 15 years, we have a very strong HR advisor and manager who works with us on strategy. And, you know, this person also is very much involved in the day-to-day running with the group and the company. So it makes a difference, you know, and really at the end of the day, when there were companies here that let their people go within a month of COVID. And now when things open, they started to scramble. I mean, in the business for 40 years, people with you, and Giordano 26 years, if you let your people go at the first sign of trouble, then you shouldn't be in business. Thank you.
How many people Giordano has, Ishwar?
Globally, 20,000. Under my watch over here, 900.
Okay.
And I tell you, one of the biggest challenges here, in other countries, you have one nationality. Okay, we have 28 nationalities, and it's not easy because each one's way to handle them is very different. So we have to really know how to handle each different nation. The Arabs will be different, the Asians different, the Indians different. So it's fun. That's what makes retailing fun.
Sure. I have a question for Rahul. Rahul, you know, opening a restaurant is almost in every man's bucket list. Almost in every man's bucket list.
Bar maybe. I don't know.
Was maybe. So, but I think still restaurant, I don't know why it's there in my bucket list also. What are the three things you would say are the positives and the three bad things about a restaurant business, which people should really look at before getting into this?
One is usually restaurateurs or restaurants are run also as a family business over the years, over generations, as you know, across the world. So it comes from inherent passion. It needs to be. A lot of restaurants in the world are owned by chefs, as you know. And the reason is because they're passionate about food. They're passionate about so a lot. And one of the reasons about the bucket list you mentioned was, why do you have a bucket list? Because you have some passions. You want to do this before you actually kick the bucket. So it's all that, you know, that kind of feeling for relationships, for, you know, getting together, that actually, you know, puts that passion. So passion without that doesn't work. That's first, you know, positive. The second is just like retail, because I'm a retailer turned restaurateur. You see your consumer. So like I'll give you, when I was in the garment exports business, I didn't know what happened when the garments went to the US. I have no idea who wore it, what happened. Today in Shailesh's case, when he goes to his stores, he can see somebody smiling at, looking at a clothes. He can get instant gratification. So that validation and gratification comes to us naturally. Our consumers are there directly. These are our guests. We call them patrons. We don't even call them consumers or customers. They're like our guests. So that really gives you, and you know, all of us love to, you know, be hospitable. If you look at it, you know, I remember coming to your house and how hospitable you are. So that's kind of given in. So as a restaurateur, you get that feeling straight up there. I don't think the McDonald's owner gets it because that's corporate, but I'm talking about a restaurant, a smaller size restaurant. The third is it has what I call a very quick to scale up model. So from a perspective, when you look at retail, I know that a lot of our time was spent in actually merchandising, and also a lot, and I'm again giving you a hat between a restaurateur and a retailer, we would spend a lot of money on inventory. Our stock turns were like really crazy, and the fashion changed, color changed, something happened, boom, you were like, here, the cost of goods is very low. Your gross margins are very high. So from a business point of view, it's 70% gross margins, and then you have obviously fixed expenses if you can be more efficient. So it actually gives you that. Your inventory is very low. We do about 25 to 30 turns in a year, of inventory. So that's awesome. And I remember doing a 7 or 8 or 10 turns was very big in our times in retail. But that is where it comes to. So that's the positive being a restaurateur. The negative is you are dealing with almost every possible regulation. So an average to sell a sandwich in India, I'm not in India right now, you will require about a dozen to 15 licenses. 15 licenses to serve a Subway sandwich, which doesn't happen in retail. You do not get an input tax credit of GST. So everything that you do is GST is gone from your pocket. So it's unbelievable. We've been fighting with everyone that, that's, we don't get. So it's a tax on tax. So there's a lot to do with regulation and licenses. People love to bash us up. The other problem is it's a very hardworking role because you end up basically getting up almost early in the morning if you're a chef who's going to go and produce, but you're closing around 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. So almost you're working almost 17 to 18 hours. The other is whenever, just like in retail also, I'm talking about the front retailers, we are working the hardest on the time when everybody's having a good time. So New Year's, Christmas, weekends are the hardest of times. That's the time when you actually, so it's a very people-driven business. It's extremely people-driven. And that is why, like, you rightly pointed out that, the CEO's role should be a people's role. It needs to be a CPO in order to be a CEO. And I've been blessed with that. I'll give you, because I come from a completely out of the box as a retailer or an engineer who's trying to sell beer. We have an attrition of 2%, which is unknown in the restaurant industry. Restaurant industry has 70, 80, 90% attrition. And the reason for that has been we've been able to keep everybody together. The whole flock's been with us. And that actually gives you a great high. I started this business 7 years back. I've still had people for the last 7 years. The careers are not great because you're still in the same role as much. At the most, you grow a bit ladder. But I think it's that family, kind of connection that brings people together. It's an unbelievably humbling, and I would say, you feel very happy when you come back home. Sure. That's what it does. Yes, great. Obviously you go through. COVID's given us a new direction for sure.
Sure. I can go on and go on. I can carry on. So many more questions. I can go on. I have so many questions for Shailesh. I don't know where to stop. Nagesh, you need to stop me.
No, I can't stop you, Amitabh, but I must say it's very inspiring for me sitting and listening, and you suddenly feel like your hands are itching to go back and start retail again. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. But I must say every story is inspiration, every word inspiration. Okay. Like I told you in the last Panchayat also, that I'm not one who makes notes, but in every Panchayat I'm filling up pages. So it's unbelievable. And all they are small words, two words, but very powerful words that come out. Excellent.
I have at least couple of more questions for everybody. We're going to let it go. We'll talk one-on-one. And the idea was to really share lots of ideas and thoughts with our friends. I think this is more like a friend sitting together and discussing post-COVID and future ideas. And that's what Panchayat has finally turned out to be. And thank you.
You know what, Amitabh, I was thinking that after we are able to close this with all the 3,000 women that we are able to support, let's do one Panchayat where we'll get not 5, but we'll get all the 50 back or whoever. Okay, sure. and do like a party, and hopefully by that time the beer cafe will be open, so we can have a beer party with, we already have a beer cafe owner sitting here, just to celebrate that what we started off, we were able to achieve it. Yeah,
we'll fly down for that.
Great. I think we'll end this here. It's already 7:15. Yeah, almost 7:15. So we'll end this here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Shailesh. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Ishwar. Thank you, Nagesh. And thank you, all those people who've contributed to this cause. And thank you, all those who have been watching us and supporting us.
Thank you on behalf of
thank you to Nagesh and to Amitabh for taking leadership of such a good cause.
Thank you.
Always
thank you so much.
Always a pleasure to be with all of you.
Yes, I would like to play the video of all the donors over the last 3 panchayats once again. Pramod, if you can play that video. So this was like a movie, 4 episodes. The credits were flowing in the end. It was feeling so good. Music was so nice. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nagesh.
Thanks
last word to you. Nagesh, last word to you.
I just want to thank everybody, all the donors, everybody who supported this cause, Amitabh and the Images team, Amisha and the TRRAIN team, and lot many people who have put in efforts in making this happen. But actually, I find this as a beginning of a new era in the retail industry, because we never faced such challenges, and we have never come together like this for a cause. TRRAIN is now here for the last 9 years. This is our 10th year, Amitabh. But this is the first time that we did something like this, and it was not part of a business strategy or part of a plan. It just, they say now that if the mind click and the heart takes, it happens, and it just happened like that. And every person who came on this show today and the last 3 episodes actually came with just that. You spoke to them, and their mind clicked and the heart ticked, and it just happened. Yeah, so we are very, very proud of what you and everybody has done, and we would, as soon as we finish supporting 3,000 youth and the Hak Darshak scheme, we would definitely announce it back. But I think what I realized today is that why should we limit the Hak Darshak only for the 3,000 women? I think if Amisha is listening, we should see if we can get the Hak Darshak for the whole industry, so that the industry employees, even when they're employed, can take benefit, because it doesn't say that many of the government schemes are not meant only for unemployed. It's also meant for people who are there. So I think we should probably attempt to do something which can be much larger than what we have done. And yeah, this is the first step. And we have a long, long way to go. And thank you once again, everybody who's on the show, and everybody who's supported, and everybody who has been behind the stage.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Amitabh. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Till we all meet again. Bye.
Yes, sir. See you. Bye.